Trick or treat? Joe Spence kicked a can down the road disconsolately. Just his luck to get stuck with his little sister. Susie wanted to do Halloween. And what Susie wanted, Susie got. What about what he wanted? His mum was busy, so guess who was left holding the baby? You got it, Muggins. Oi, Suze! Stay in sight, he bawled, as the small cat with blonde pigtails and a red basket skittered down the street ahead of him. Come on, Joe! I want to go in here! Hurry up! Hurry! Her determined whine set his teeth on edge. He'd already shepherded her up and down 2 of the adjoining roads. Wouldn't she ever get tired? He had a party to go to. If he didn't get cracking, he'd lose his chance to hook up with Leanne. Leanne was gorgeous, 17 and ripe as a peach. Long black eyelashes fringed hypnotic green eyes, and those lips. His own lips almost puckered in anticipation. And if Squirt here didn't get bored soon, he'd be late. If he was late, Barney Hunter would get in first. He stopped under a streetlight to check his watch for the umpteenth time, a light sweat of anxiety glistening on his forehead. Susie was hopping from one leg to the other in a frenzy of frustration, waiting for Joe to catch up. This house was almost in darkness, but a faint light showed from the hall. The door was open, and something was spilling out, sprawled across the step. Susie peered through the mist that was beginning to swirl about her, but she couldn't quite work out what it was. Glancing back to make sure Joe had nearly reached her, she opened the gate, which creaked satisfyingly, and she took one tentative step towards the door. Joe loomed closer. Susie, emboldened by his presence, moved a little further down the path, brow furrowed with impatience. Joe had reached the gate by now and was watching her, a scowl on his face. Bother him, she thought. Oh, grumpy guts! And keeping her eyes on the thing by the door, she tiptoed closer. Ooh, scary! She gave a delighted shiver. It looked like a dead person. Trick or treat! She trilled in a childish treble. Trick or treat! A shrouded figure appeared at the door. Here, catch! It ground out in guttural tones. A handful of sweets landed in the basket she was holding. One bounced off the rim and landed on the ground by the figure lying there. Grinning, she bent to pick it up. Suddenly, she froze in disbelief as a hand stretched towards her. A bloodshot eye opened and swiveled to look at her. A great gash of a mouth opened and a hoarse voice croaked, Help me. Susie screamed. Her high-pitched banshee wail hung on the misty evening air as she stood there appalled. Then, dropping her basket, she turned and ran for her life. Joe gave a snort of laughter. Nice one, he thought, as Susie continued her headlong flight towards home and safety. I owe you one, mate, he called over his shoulder as he sauntered after her. Now he could get to the party and stake his claim. Have they gone? A voice from within whispered to the figure who had thrown Susie the sweets. Yeah, coast clear. Come on, let's get out of here. What about him? Leave him. Let's go. The 2 housebreakers, disguised as ghostly monks, slipped down the path and disappeared into the gloom, leaving poor Mr. Brown to be discovered by the next trick-or-treaters. The story is Trick or Treat. The name is Loretta Livingstone. That's me. Happy Halloween.